Amazing. That last devotion that I did, 10,000 views.
Hey, that's great.
I know.
Amazing.
I've just sent a text to Pete. He'll be so pleased for me.
Right,
So thank you very much to all my fans on YouTube. It's great to be back with you again. You know, actually, I'm really waving my hands because it's hands that I want to talk about. See this right hand here? Well, many years ago, this hand shook hands with this man, and you'll recognise him as a very famous country and western singer. There's a really great thrill to meet him in Manchester, and I've even got an autograph to prove it. I know that doesn't prove that I shook hands with him, but you'll just have to trust me. See this hand here? This hand here once held a bottle of champagne to serve this woman here at a royal wedding near Chester, and it was a great thrill. Do you think Johnny Cash or the Queen would still remember all those years ago that these hands were used to meet them and to serve them? I doubt it. See, they wouldn't remember, but I do. Amazing things, hands, aren't they? For example, you see this golf ball here? Well, in my hand it's probably worth £1, but in Tiger Woods' hands it's worth $122 million since he first started playing golf. And this tennis ball here, see, in my hands it's probably worth about 125, but in Roger Federer's hands in the year to 1st of June 2019 it was worth $93.4 million in prize money, endorsements and appearances. All of this got me thinking about Jesus' hands. What did he do with his hands? Well, in some ways he used them like we do. He used them to get dressed. He used them to wash himself. He used them to eat with and greet people. But in his ministry, what did he do with his hands? And I searched the whole of the 4 Gospels, and I made a note of all the things he used his hands for. Now, I can't read them all out because it would take too long, but just here's a few examples. He made a whip of cords, and he drove out all the people selling cattle, sheep and doves in the temple courts. And with his hands he used them to overturn the tables of the money changers. He used them to wash the disciples' feet. He used them to touch lepers, to touch people who had a fever, to bless little children. And he used them to heal the severed ear of a man who'd been assaulted by one of his followers in the Garden of Gethsemane. As I said a minute ago, just depends on whose hands these things are in. Take this basket, for instance. 2 fish, 5 loaves. Well, in my hands, it's just a couple of picnic lunches. But in his hands, they fed 5,000 with 12 baskets left over. Or take these nails and this hammer, for instance. Well, in my hands, you see this fence here? They might secure one of the posts in it. But in his hands, the nails in his hands would lead to salvation and eternal life for people who put their trust in him. See, the value of something really does depend on whose hands they're in. And I wonder if you could speak now to those Roman soldiers who crucified Jesus. Do you think they'd remember it? I believe they would. I do, and Jesus does too.